DETV News is powered by DART, Delaware's transit service, moving forward.
State employees are set to receive significant pay raises. Plus, the Delaware State Treasurer is taking action to safeguard finances amid looming federal government default. And Memorial Day weekend is upon us. What's happening across the first state? Those stories and much more straight ahead on tonight's edition of DETV News. While many will be soaking in the sunshine and warm weather on their favorite beach spot, several celebrations in Delaware remind folks of what this holiday weekend is really about. Hello and welcome to DETV News. I'm Matt Ford. Thanks for being with us as we head into this Memorial Day weekend. We'll preview those events happening over the weekend that honor members of the military who gave the ultimate sacrifice a little later on in the broadcast. We begin with some good news. If you're a state employee, State of Delaware employees can expect salary increases ranging from 3 to 9% following the approval of a pay package by the Joint Finance Committee in the General Assembly. Under the new plan, workers on the lower end of the pay scale will receive the higher percentage increase. That includes teachers, who will also see raises and additional compensation as well. The move comes as the state faces a need to fill multiple job vacancies and address competition from the private sector. The average salary of a state employee currently stands just above $52,000. The Joint Finance Committee is currently in the budget markup process and will present a budget for voting in both the House and Senate. Panel members also added millions of dollars and several new positions to Kearney's recommended budget to reflect a passage of a marijuana legalization bill that the Democratic governor allowed to become law without his signature. The committee added more than $2.2 million and 34 new positions to Kearney's recommended budget to begin implementing a state licensed and regulated marijuana industry. The funding includes money to staff a new office of the marijuana commissioner and add 14 new positions in the Division of Alcohol and Tobacco Enforcement and to administer and enforce Delaware's Marijuana Control Act. Lawmakers also approved funding for new marijuana tax auditors in the Department of Finance, new investigators in the Division of Public Health, as well as pesticides and weights and measures personnel in the Department of Agriculture. Delaware Representative Lisa Blunt Rochester told CNN earlier this week that she is interested in taking over Senator Tom Carper's seat when he retires next year. While speaking to CNN, Rochester did not indicate a time frame for announcing a run, but suggested she's in the final stages of deliberations. This comes just a day after Carper announced that he will not seek re-election for a 5th term in office. During his retirement announcement earlier this week, Carper said he would back Rochester as a potential successor for his Delaware Senate seat. The Congresswoman would also fill a void in Congress since no black women are currently serving as senators after Kamala Harris became vice president. Delaware Lieutenant Governor Bethany Hall Long joined NFL Hall of Famer Randy White, former Philadelphia Eagles Pro Bowler Jeremiah Trotter, and state education and law enforcement leaders at the Garfield Park Police Athletic League on Wednesday to unveil a statewide initiative aimed at improving the identification and location of missing children here in Delaware. The newly formed partnership between the state of Delaware and the National Child Identification Program will furnish 156,000 child ID kits to Delaware families starting this year.
Inside is for fingerprint and DNA information. DNA comes in a corner. There's height, weight, and a place for a picture and medical information on the back. It takes about 5 minutes for a parent to fill out.
These kits, already utilized in various states, will include an inkless fingerprint solution, DNA storage, a section for medical and dental records, and a space to provide details about a child's physical description. They serve as valuable resources for law enforcement in cases involving missing children. According to the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children, 58 children were reported missing from Delaware last year. The Delaware Department of Education will distribute the ID kits to K through 12 students beginning yesterday, the day before the 40th annual National Missing Children's Day. Parents will receive prior notification about the distribution of these kits.
So our goal today, in partnership with the United Auto Workers, IBW, Exelon, we are thrilled to announce that we're going to be sending 156,000 identification kits home with children come this summer and fall. And it's a volunteer program. Parents can opt, and they're very easy paper kits that parents can use for photo, fingerprint, and a quick DNA swab that they keep safely at home. And it's a very effective means. Last year, in 2022, we had 58 Delaware children go missing, and a third of those were in trafficking. So it's a serious subject, and it's great to be proactive and ahead. And it was fantastic today to have the National Football League here, and we also had our Blue Coats mascot and our Delaware State Police, Newcastle County, and other police officers to really express the importance of partnership. So please be on the lookout for these identification kits. They are free, and they will be available to all Delaware families.
And an anti-robocall multi-state task force has initiated a lawsuit against a company they say conducted billions of illegal robocalls, including here in Delaware. The massive multi-state lawsuit was filed against Avid Telecom, its owner and its vice president. Avid Telecom is reportedly a voice-over internet protocol service provider that sells data, phone numbers, and expertise on assisting its customers to make mass robocalls. It also allegedly facilitated in routing illegal robocalls all across the United States. The lawsuit alleges Avid Telecom sent or transmitted more than 24.5 billion calls nationwide from years 2018 to 2023, with 7.5 billion of those going to numbers that are on the Do Not Call National Registry. 27 million of those calls were to Delawareans, according to Delaware Attorney General Kathy Jennings. Avid Telecom allegedly sent or transmitted scam calls about Social Security Administration scams, Medicare scams, auto warranty scams, Amazon scams, DirecTV scams, credit card interest rate reduction scams, and employment scams. Almost 8.5 million of the calls appeared to be coming from government and law enforcement agencies, as well as private companies. That's according to the lawsuit. Delaware State Treasurer Colleen Davis is taking proactive steps to protect the financial interests of the state in anticipation of a potential federal government default. The move follows United States Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen's warning that without a debt ceiling agreement by June 1st, the federal government could default its loan obligations. According to the Treasurer's Office, Delaware's overall investment portfolio currently holds approximately $2.3 billion in U.S. Treasuries. Davis emphasized that Delaware possesses resources to meet its financial obligations in the short term, even without funds from the U.S. Treasury holdings. The Treasurer's Office has devised strategies to navigate potential financial turmoil in Delaware and will closely monitor the ongoing negotiations in Washington, urging leaders to reach a timely agreement. Delaware paramedics have launched a new initiative aimed at saving lives in critical situations. Paramedics in Newcastle and Sussex counties now carry units of blood which can be administered to trauma patients while they're being rushed to the hospital. By carrying O-positive blood that can be received by patients of any blood type, paramedics can provide an infusion to individuals suffering from traumatic injuries. This pre-hospital intervention can potentially make a life-saving difference. Upon arrival, an IV will be administered, and the blood will be warmed as it is infused into the patient. While 1 unit of blood is typically less than what most trauma patients require, it can help prevent shock by starving off the depletion of blood that deprives organs of vital oxygen. While paramedics nationwide carry fluids to replace lost blood volume, these fluids lack the oxygen-carrying capabilities of blood. By potentially preventing tissue death, patients gain valuable time to reach trauma surgeons who will provide life-saving care. The Delaware Department of Safety and Homeland Security will hold registration opportunities for assault weapons, with 3 designated dates for obtaining certificates in each county. The 3 dates for people from each county to get a certificate are May 27th at Delaware State Police Troop 2, June 3rd at the Delaware State Police Troop 7 building in Sussex County, and on June 10th at the Delaware State Police Bureau of Identification in Kent County. According to the bill the legislature passed last year, the Department of Safety and Homeland Security won't keep copies of the certificate or other identifying information on people who get a certificate of possession. Despite that, the president of the Delaware State Sportsmanship Association said that people will still be reluctant to show up to these events because of the possibility they could be tracked. Concerns have been raised about the timing of the certification process and the lack of clarity regarding post-listed date procedures and consequences for not having a certificate after June 30th of this year. People must provide valid ID and proof of purchase before June 30th of last year to obtain a certificate. The Delaware State Sportsmen's Association has expressed disappointment and has filed a lawsuit against the state over the assault weapon ban. Over the past month, we've been highlighting a series that focuses on the trials and tribulations of parking here in downtown Wilmington. Parking advocate Ken Grant has been getting quite a response from residents and visitors here in the city of Wilmington. In yesterday's broadcast, we met Carrie, a Wilmington resident whose car has been booted once and towed twice, for which she says is no apparent reason. Here's the second part of this week's episode.
We're filming today on Friday, May 19th. On Monday, May 15th, we reached out to the city council, mayor's office, Department of Finance, and the legal department, asking them about these situations that Carrie faced. Specifically, Carrie is interested in knowing the following. How does a vehicle with different license plates, different model, different VIN, and different owners accidentally get booted? What criteria does the city use to determine whether a vehicle is abandoned? Is city towing allowed to just tow vehicles anytime they wish without even notifying the city? And I have to address a couple of other things. First, I know the standard line many on city council have heard. It goes something like, oh, Ken Grant brings these stories to us, but the people don't always tell the whole story. Of course, when I try to explore further, well, that's supposed to just shut down the conversation. So please don't accept that somehow any of these events were justified without evidence. For example, where is the alleged ticket from March to justify that tow? Second, I've tried asking this a few times, have yet to receive a reasonable response. If you take a look at sheet 1 of the attached spreadsheet, you'll find the monthly breakdown of how much the city receives in $25 tow release fees each month between December of 2018 and December of 2020. We're looking at an average of about $5,000 per month. Now, if you look at sheet 2, you'll see the list of all of those vehicles that were towed and then returned to their owners. 4,169 vehicles, actually a few more, some are doubled up. Now, if you scroll across to column P, you'll see how much drivers had to pay to get their vehicles back. And you'll see that 3 people paid more than $1,000 to the city, presumably for past parking tickets. Another 30 or so paid anywhere from $33 to $946. And the other 4,000 plus vehicles claimed by their owners only had to pay $25 release fees. So why were all of those vehicles towed? And some may have been involved in crashes, but not 4,000. Any other reason, unpaid parking tickets, parking at a fire hydrant, blocking an intersection, etc., would mean the driver would have to pay the city for those violations in addition to the $25 release fee. But we have more than 4,000 vehicles here that seem to have been towed just because. Again, I think we need to have a conversation.
Ken is calling on the city of Wilmington to bring in an independent group to audit the towing that's been going on. Ken says that he is hopeful that there will eventually be real reforms in the city of Wilmington on these issues, but he says that that can only happen after we have a clear understanding of what's been happening for the past few years and address those issues. For detailed information on Ken's efforts and for his past videos, head to appealingwilmington.com. The New Jersey barrier that created a bypass lane during construction on the Delaware Memorial Bridge, they're being removed with the goal of having all 8 lanes open this holiday weekend. The Delaware River and Bay Authority said that the 3/4 of the New Jersey-bound span is now fully rebuilt. The last phase, which is expected to begin after Labor Day, will focus on the right 2 lanes from the midpoint of the bridge to the New Jersey side of the structure. For the latest in traffic information and projected updates, follow the bridge on Twitter at DEMEM Bridge or sign up for text alerts at the website seen on your screen. And speaking of holiday travel, AAA expects summer travel this year to be comfortably above pre-pandemic numbers, despite airline ticket prices running 20 to 30% higher than this time last year. Those traveling by car can expect much cheaper gas prices, down an average of $4.61 per gallon last year to $3.42 per gallon this holiday weekend. AAA also predicted the best and worst times to travel this weekend. They are Friday, May 26th. They say the best time to travel is before 12 noon and the worst being from 3 to 6 p.m. Now, when you're heading home on Monday, May 29th, AAA says the best time to hit the road is before 10 a.m., with the worst time being from 4 to 6 p.m. That brings us to those important Memorial Day weekend events we told you about at the top of the broadcast. Sussex County's Memorial Day service is going to start at 1:30 p.m. on Sunday, May 28th at the Circle in Georgetown. The rifle salute will be executed by members of the 198th Signal Battalion. Delaware National Guard stationed at the Georgetown Armory. Memorial wreaths will be placed by local veterans groups and service organizations in tribute to those who died serving our country. Rehoboth Beach's Memorial Day starts with a wreath-laying ceremony honoring female veterans and first responders. That's Monday, May 29th at 9 a.m. at the Veterans Memorial at the Bandstand. At 2 p.m. on Monday, May 29th, the Kent County Vietnam veterans will host a ceremony at the Kent County Veterans Memorial Park at South Little Creek in Dover. Wilmington's annual Memorial Day parade starts at 6 p.m. Tuesday, May 30th. The parade starts at Delaware and Woodlawn Avenues and proceeds down Delaware Avenue to the Soldiers and Sailors Monument on Broome Street, where a memorial observance will be held. The Delaware Commission of Veterans Affairs is holding its annual Memorial Day service. That starts 10:30 a.m. Tuesday, May 30th. It's at Veterans Memorial Park near Newcastle. And before we go, it's puppy love for 2 Wilmington high schools that are preparing for prom. Salesianum posted a pup proposal on Facebook earlier. The all-boys school dog Louie asked Winnie, the girl dog for the all-girls school Ursuline Academy, to prom, saying, quote, "Prom will be rough, R-U-F-F, without you." Winnie, of course, accepted with a sign saying back, "I'm so doggone flattered, I would wuff to. It would be golden to be your date." Louie has been Salesianum's dog since October of 2021, and Winnie has been with Ursuline since last fall. Salesianum's senior prom is May 26th. And that's going to do it for tonight's edition of DETV News. Be sure to follow us all across your favorite social media platforms and take a look at our website. That's detvch.com. For tonight's news, have a happy and safe Memorial Day weekend. Lauren Wilson and I will see you back here next week.